guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my binge eating disorder. Honesty time. I filmed this video last week and somehow I deleted it off my camera. And I've tried filming this 4 times today and I'm just not finding the words. And I just feel like what I'm gonna say is just not enough for people that are dealing with this. But I figured I'm gonna try one more time, and if it doesn't work, it's not going up. Okay, first and foremost, I wanna let you guys know that I am not a professional. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a certified personal trainer, and I am in the process of getting my certification for holistic life coaching. So I'm just sharing with you guys my personal experiences, and this is in no way intended to cure what you're going through. So please just know that this is just me sharing what I've been through and what helped me. I will share what I did do to try to get over my binge eating disorder, but again, I don't want you to think that what I did is gonna help you, like 100%. It might, but I don't want you to think that. I hope that made sense. So without further ado, this is my story. So I don't have a specific date of when it started like becoming a thing. All I know is that I remember it happening when I was in New York. So I was in New York for about 7 years, so I might have been doing it for about six and a half. But it did start way back when I was in Florida. So I remember that I was in high school, and I think I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and we took a picture for our dance team. And I remember seeing that picture and seeing all the girls wearing our crop tops and our leggings, and our stomachs were showing. And I remember looking at that picture and seeing everyone's stomach beautiful and flat. I'm not talking about like a six-pack or anything, but they were flat. And I was on the floor, like seated. So I had a couple rolls, and I remember thinking, why do I look like that? And why don't I look as the other girls? And I didn't think anything wrong of my body. I was just confused why I didn't look like everyone else. Fast forward to college. When I auditioned for my college dance team, I went in, I auditioned, and the coach took me aside and she's like, unfortunately, we can't accept you right now. Work on your technique and lose a little bit of weight. I said, okay, I didn't think anything of it. The next year I come back and I auditioned again, and she told me that I needed to lose a little bit more weight. And so again, naive, I came back and I auditioned, and at that point I had lost maybe like 15, 20 pounds, and I was not accepted once again. I do remember though, she called me out after and she said, you know, you're a beautiful dancer, you make me want to watch you, but unfortunately your butt is too big. And it was around this same time when I was working at a job that I will not name, and I got fired because I didn't look as skinny as the other girls. So this whole time, you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I got fired from this one job. I didn't get into this dance team because the way my body looked. So in my head, what did I need to do? I needed to fix my body. So that's when I started dieting hardcore, and that's also, I think I moved to New York a year later. When I moved to New York, I wanted to get signed in a modeling agency, do some modeling, stuff like that, and every agency that I visited told me that my body was the problem. I needed to lose weight, or I needed to eat more so that I become a plus size model. But the only thing with plus size is that you have to be proportionate, and we know that when we eat food, we don't really dictate where it goes, so I wasn't about to eat so I can get big. I wanted to just model my body. It wasn't, but they didn't like my body for what it looked like, and they didn't want me to be in their agencies. So at this point, I, would read all the magazines and it would say work out, work out, work out. More like cardio, cardio, cardio. I would do a bunch of cardio, maybe 2 hours in the morning, then maybe a yoga class in the middle, and then 2 hours cardio after. And that was my routine. And while I was doing that, I was also eating about 900 calories a day. I would eat one of the Nature Valley granola bars for breakfast. I would have the other one for lunch, and then for dinner I'd eat like half a can of tuna, and then I would have Cheerios as my dessert. Never forget. And again, that went on for a little bit, a lot of it. And I would just do that for about a week, and then I'd binge on the weekends, and then I would just repeat that cycle over and over and over again. And I want to just make a note here. I want you guys to understand the difference between a binge and overeating. Binging is when we want to fill a void for whatever reason it is. We just can't stop. We want to stop, but we can't stop. And then you feel bad for knowing that you can stop, but you're choosing not to. And then you go down this guilt trip, and it just becomes a really, really dark hole that you can't get out of. Overeating, on the other hand, is when you have an extra cookie or have an extra serving of like rice or have too many chips, or, you know, they're totally different. So I will say that, you know, binge eating is not something that goes away like that. There are still times that I'm eating something and I'll have like an extra cookie or 2 extra cookies, even 3 cookies. And in my head, I'm like, are you binging right now? Like, what's happening? And I'm not. I'm just eating an extra cookie. So I just want you to, you know, reframe your mind a little bit, because I know there's a lot of talk about binge eating, and I just feel like binge eating is a very serious condition, and I don't want you to self-diagnose yourself when you're just really overeating, which that's very easily fixed, you know? So I don't know where I was, but I got off on a tangent. But so I'll tell you about a specific example that I went through. I was modeling a lingerie company, and I obviously thought I was too fat at this point. So I would restrict myself for the entire week. The shoot, I think, was on a Friday or Saturday. And after the shoot was done, I was like, I deserve food because I made it through this entire week, restricting myself. I did the photo shoot, and now I could eat. So on my way home, I ordered a cookie cake from Insomnia Cookies. If you guys know what a cookie cake is, it's literally like a cake made from cookies. So I got home, the cookie was there, and I ate the entire thing in one sitting. And I felt disgusting after that, and it was just, you know, not good. I also lived near a CVS and a Dunkin' Donuts, and I remember I went to CVS and I bought a bag of, like, those big bag of pretzel sticks, a couple sleeves of donuts. I bought a bag of Reese's, like the individual packets, and then I went to the Dunkin' Donuts right next door and I bought like 4 donuts. Went home, went straight to my room, and I ate all of it. And, you know, I hate talking about this because I remember what it was to feel, what I was feeling back then. But, you know, I think it's also good to share because it reminds you, whoever's watching right now, if you go through this, that you're not alone, and that, you know, you could come out of it. I know that when I was going through it, it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like I was ever gonna be able to be around food and not want to binge. But this is just a reminder to you that you can get over it. And just with the right tools and the right help, you could come to the other side. And again, I don't want you to think there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You know, everyone has their things, and yours just happens to be, I mean, I guess ours happens to be food. But I'm here to tell you that it's gonna be okay and you can get through this. So those are a couple little things that happened to me, or how I, you know, dealt with binge eating. Now, I did want to talk to you guys about a couple things that I used to do to kind of get away from the binging. So the one thing that I did first and foremost was learn my triggers. I learned what caused me to get these feelings. For me, it was being around models, being at castings, people looking at my body. And you guys obviously know that I've done all these things still. Like, I'm still in the public eye. When people, you know, I competed in bodybuilding, people look at my body. Like, I don't know why I do these things, but I'm at a different point in my life where when someone says something about my body, it doesn't really bother me anymore. But back then, you know, I would feel bad because, you know, people would comment that my body was not the right size or that it was too big, and I would just eat because that's what I did when I was sad. And it was just like a vicious cycle. Also, having these foods in my apartment. So like I mentioned, I would go out and buy food. I wouldn't eat out. I wouldn't binge out. I would go to like grocery stores and Dunkin' Donuts and shops and bodegas, and I would bring my stuff home. So, you know, foods were triggers for me. So for me to not be triggered, I wouldn't bring the foods into my apartment. And one thing that you guys could do to help you, you know, kind of discover your triggers is keep a journal. Whenever you see something or whenever you feel that urge to binge, maybe write it down, and then hopefully by that time you don't want to binge anymore, because putting that pen to paper and talking about what you want to do and why you want to do it will kind of do something in your brain, and it'll make you not want to do it. Another thing that worked for me tremendously is remembering the feeling that I would get after a binge. And I don't know about you, but that feeling is something that I do not ever want to feel. I feel disgusting. I feel guilty. I feel extremely full. I feel lethargic, and I just feel I just feel like that's not the person that I want to be. So anytime, I'll give you an example, during my prep, you know, Taz used to DJ at night, his parents would go out, I'd have the house to myself. And if you guys remember all the goodies that they would bake here, it was like danger zone. So I remember I was at home and I walked into the kitchen and I got that urge that we all get when we binge, right? And I opened up the cabinets and my thought was I could do some serious damage here. And I think I even went to grab something and then I was like, Yami, think about what you're doing. Think about how you feel after you do this. And I literally put whatever it was that I had, put it back in the cabinet and I walked out. And I never made my way back into that kitchen again. Removing yourself from the situation helps tons. I know that we hear it all the time and it sounds super cheesy, but if you don't do it, you'll never know. So next time you feel that coming on, maybe just remove yourself from the situation. Get out of the kitchen. Go out for a bike walk. Go out for a walk. Ride your bike. Walk your dog. Maybe go out for a run. Maybe call a friend. Maybe draw. You know, there are so many things that we could do that will delay that urge for us to binge. And more often than not, when we delay it, we don't even want to do it anymore. So taking yourself out of that situation, I know for me, helped tremendously. And last but not least, I think the one thing that I suggest the most is get help. You know, I want to say go out and speak to a professional, but I know that at the same time, you have to be ready for that. So if you're not ready to see a professional or seek out a professional, tell a close friend. And I'm not talking about like an Instagram friend. I want you to talk to somebody that you can share your deepest, darkest things with, and you will not be judged for it, and they'll hold you accountable. Because next time you have an urge, you want to text this person that you trust to help you get off that ledge. So I don't want you to just share this with everybody that you meet. I want you to share it with someone that's very special to you and someone that loves you for you. It's not a friend, maybe it's your parents. I know that's kind of like touchy. People don't like telling their parents a lot of things, but you know, you have to do what's the best for you. The best thing for you to do is to get help. And you know, maybe it'll take a couple months, but maybe they can help you get ready to speak to a professional. And again, I don't want you to think that there's something wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's just food has a little bit of control over our lives, you know, and I'm here to remind you that you can get over it and this won't last forever. So, you know, maybe that could be your silver lining today. You can get through this, and with the help of your close friends and family, know that you can get through it. So I think I'm gonna end the video right here. Like I said, it wasn't gonna be a super long video. I just wanted to kind of share my story with you guys. If you guys have any questions about any of this, please leave them down below and I'd be happy to answer them. Or if there's anything else you want me to talk about, leave them down below. But for now, I've gotta go to work. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.